The live in-person meeting taking place to the public in accordance with the Sunshine Act by attending and/or commenting publicly in this meeting, you are consenting to the recording, retention, and future viewing of this meeting. This meeting is also being live streamed as a convenience to the public. In an event this live stream fails and cannot be transmitted for any reason, the in-person meeting will continue without interruption. Carrie or Tom, roll call, please.
Daniel Brenneman. Here. Mary Brenneman. Here. Nick Lovell.
Here.
Jeannie Ewan. Here. Janelle Ressler. Here. Wayne Sullivan.
Here.
Carl Thompson.
Here.
Stephen Yerger.
Here.
And Brian Moyer is not.
Wayne, you're up. Pledge allegiance. All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. We now recognize the members of the public who have signed up to provide comment as stipulated in policy 903. When your name is called, please approach the podium, state your name, confirm you're a resident or a taxpayer of the district, topic of discussion for the record. Please direct your comments to the board as a whole, not as an individual. We ask that you limit your comments to 5 minutes or less. The privilege to speak may be interrupted or vote or recessed. A recess of the meeting may be called by the chair if the speaker does not observe reasonable decorum and order to conduct. Wayne Sullivan.
Good evening to the board. I wasn't really going to speak tonight, but I have a few concerns that came across my desk, so to speak. I got an email about a complaint that was made to the Board of Elections as well as the county commissioners. And it was made by Ms. Jeannie Ewan. And she claimed that targeted disinformation called out by me, Martha Bryant, Donna Bayless, Janae Stanton, and Suzanne Johnson. And she also wrote my public comments that I'm making up here, misleading and inflammatory statements undermining trust in the district. She also said the campaign of information disruption that threatens both the integrity of the election and the unity of our party. And then she also makes an affirmation of values of ethical leadership, transparency, and respectful civil discourse. Here's my advice to you, Ms. Ewing. Sue me. If you have facts and you think I'm lying, sue me. Because I'll take you to court. I'll dance with you. I'm willing to do that. We'll see who comes out on top. Because I'm done with the lies and the stuff that y'all are spreading to everybody. No. Take me to court. Take me to court. I'm saying this in public right now. Let's go. I'll dance with you. I'll do interrogatories on you, discovery. We'll figure this out. And I guarantee you, you're going to come on the bottom end of it. Because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the lies. The lies. I'm tired of it. I'm trying to be nice to the board. I'm trying to be decent. But when I read this, I'm sorry to the board that I had to come up here. I wasn't going to, but I'm upset. I'm so tired of being defamed. If my YouTube page is that bad, you should be able to sue me. That's your remedy. Brian Lawyer said it. He was right. Sue me. Bring it on. And you're using people, you know, this isn't a back and forth, by the way. When did it become a back and forth?
Well, this is an appropriate public comment.
It is for me because I'm upset. I can come up and say what's going on. I can obviously say it. I have a right to stand here as a taxpayer and a resident. If I'm being attacked by any board member, I have a right to come here and say it. You take away my right, you're taking away my First Amendment right to speak at this podium. You have it, I have it, we all have it. We don't give it away when we enter this board. And so I'm just saying, I was cool, I was fine, you know I was at the graduation, but I read this and I got angry because I'm so tired of this. There's a remedy. Sue. Just sue me and let's dig it out. So, in any respect, as far as the budget's concerned, my opinion on this is this, because I've watched everything unfold as it has. And since we're at 0%, That's a really good thing. It's what I've strived for since I came on the board. I have no problem with the 0%. I think though, since this year's the first year, in my opinion, and it's back to 0% at least 10 years, my suggestion was to everybody was we all run every year. That way every year you don't raise taxes. It's that simple. Because if it takes running for election to not raise taxes on these taxpayers, then we should all be made to run every year. I'm game. Because as soon as somebody doesn't like what you do, they can vote you out. As soon as you raise taxes, you're gone the next year. Instead of every time, every 4 years when you come up, oh, I'm not going to raise taxes. Now, Jeannie, I know you haven't raised taxes. I'm not blaming you for raising taxes. I'm making it very clear. I'm not doing that. But I'm just saying that this is the first year 0%, which I'm happy for. I'm not saying I'm not. But at this point right now, that's the way I feel about it as far as the budget is concerned. And really, that's all I really wanted to say. I just wanted to address that topic, and that was it. And I'm sorry to the board that I had to come up here and do this, but at this point right now, when I read that, I was upset. I think I'm trying to work towards the board, not away from it at this point, because I don't want this to be a circus anymore. I don't. I want to do stuff for the students. I said that to you at the graduation, Dr. Mitchell. I said I want to work for the students. I don't want a circus anymore, because the people out there are seeing this as a circus. I don't want that anymore, okay? I don't. I'd rather work with you than against you in any shape or form. So if I can do that, that'd be great. I just don't want the attacks to continue. I just don't. And when I saw that, that was an attack. I'm sorry I had to bring it up, and I apologize. You all have a good evening. Thanks for listening to me. You're up.
Good evening. We are heavily into the throes of phase 2 of the construction project. Especially now without students in the building, it's getting a little bit hard to keep track of everything that's going on at the same time. Schedule status, the numbers are about the same. We're 21 months as of the 13th, and we still only lost 1 day due to weather. Can I have the next slide, Carrie? Okay, I'm not going to point out which parts of the building we're in, because we're pretty much in every part of the building except, well, you know, a little bit in building C, for sure. So the entire building right now is considered to be under construction. Next slide, please. Okay, the kitchen and learning commons area is, well, right now it's under building steel in the kitchen, and they're working on the commons area. The underfloor rough-in, they're finished with the underfloor rough-in in the new kitchen area. They're in the process of digging up the old kitchen and putting in the new serving line, the plumbing and the electrical for that. So there's a bunch of holes in the floor in that area right now. Cafeteria demo began. It's pretty much completed right now. The new entrance at the end of the E wing is finished. The doors are in, the glass is in the doors. The flooring and everything down in there, but that'll last. Ceiling track in the first floor of the E wing is completed, and pretty much completed in the second floor since I wrote this. Painting in the first floor of the E wing is completed, and the next slide, please, Gary. Floor tile installation of first floor E wing is just about finished. It's begun, it's just about finished. There's maybe 1 or 2 rooms in the classroom area that needs to be done. Painting in the second floor of E wing is about 95% complete. They're still doing some painting up there. Ceiling track installation in the second floor is pretty much completed now. The epoxy chip flooring in the bathrooms, that's that blue and white flooring like we have in building C, has been installed on both floors in the new bathrooms in both floors. The acid waste piping for the science rooms on the second floor of E wing is completed. And they started painting the gold gym today. They started cleaning off the beams and the roof joists. I imagine they'll be painting tomorrow or the next day. Next slide, please. Almost all the temporary partitions have been removed. There's one that went up in the corridor to the cafeteria so that we can close off the building while it's open. And the old bell clock system that was in the way in the old admin area has been removed. And nothing blew up. Well, Nate's not here, nothing blew up, so we're okay. Next slide, please. The concrete and retaining wall at cafeteria, that was retested, that does meet specifications and was approved by the structural engineer. The concrete in the canopy piers is being poured for testing. Now, even if that fails, it's an easy replacement job because they're not really holding anything up except for when the canopy goes in, and that'll go in last. Next slide, please. Med Ed infrastructure. That's been a little bit of a problem. Med Ed completed their load study and decided let me back up. We notified them about a year before construction started of what we were doing and what the loads would be and how much electricity we needed. About a month ago, they notified us that they had completed their study.
Hold it right there 1 second. Forward in your package, you've got a letter that you might want to refer to, so that they can get ahead of you.
So the letter's in there?
Yeah. So, go ahead, sorry to interrupt.
But they decided they were done with their study, and they sent us a letter detailing the equipment that they felt they would need and the cost of that equipment that they claim that the school district has to bear. So I'd say, I don't know, Tim, I'd say we're working through that issue.
Yeah, I'm working through that, and I can provide details about that, Joe.
Okay.
So, right now, as Gil stated, Med Ed, First Energy, has a resource that they use when any customer, whether that's a residential customer or commercial customer, does any kind of upgrade to their electrical service or their electrical system, just as Gil shared. I shared a link with the board earlier. The link is right here to be able to follow through, and we did provide, I think, page 75 also is something that is provided to the board to highlight what First Energy's tariffs are. The situation is this: when it first came up, and just as Gil said, we provided this information to them in June of 2023, and we did not have a cost for this until about 2 months ago. And the cost that they provided us was a charge of $319,794.56. At which point in time we said, uh-oh, where did this come from? Because we've had this out to you for 2 years. Since then, and a lot of researching, what we found is that as Med Ed increases the power supply to the grid where Littlestown High School, middle school is sitting, they have to do themselves upgrades to their substation. It is written and it is in law that any upgrade to their system required by their customers is the responsibility of the customers. So I've contacted the solicitor about that. That is something that we know is true. However, in the process, they've given us now 2 options. Option 1, they have a revenue credit they've provided us, which takes the charge down to $190,028 and some cents. That comes with 5 years of a minimum power charge every month that Med Ed would give us. So it's really not a cost savings, it's a reduction in the one-time charge to the district, with it being offset over 5 years with a minimum charge. So as soon as we heard that, Victor and I started talking, and Victor said, I would like to know what the difference is between our fee, or what that estimate would be, that minimum charge that they would give us per month annually over the next 5 years, what that would equate to, and is it more? So I'm going to stop there. That's option 1. Option 1 is to pay $190,000 and be on the hook for a minimum utility fee for the high school for the next 60 months. When I approached Med Ed and talked with them, I asked, are we required to
to take that revenue credit up front, therefore paying all that amount right now with general funds that we currently have, and foregoing or eliminating the contract that we would have for the next 5 years. They researched it and said, you can do that. It's those two options. So when they calculated the difference would be $250,000 approximately. She did not have the details because I didn't go and say we're going to do that. She has to wait until I give the okay for her to give us a total, but it is approximately $250,000 with no minimum monthly fee. When I checked with our electrical engineer, Reese Hackman, to take a look at past utility bills, the amount of kilowatt hours that we've had per year versus the rate that we were paying as a medium district, now being a large district and the new rate, Reese Hackman estimates that a minimum charge would cost the district approximately $24,000 annually. So over 5 years, $24,000 equates to $120,000. That's what, in addition to our utility charges for this new power supply, that's in addition to what we currently pay, that would be that minimum. So we have two options in front of us, and this is not on the agenda yet because I just got this information from Reese Hackman today. They have been working on it since last week, since about last Wednesday, to try to determine this and find out what that cost would be. So option one is pay $190,000 up front that needs to be paid because First Energy will not do any services until they receive payment. And then be on the hook for 5 years with that minimum charge of kilowatt hours, or draw from our general fund or draw from our construction change order fund to be able to pay the $250,000 approximately and not have the minimum fee. In my opinion, it would be better to listen to our electrical engineers and forego that cost of utility fees that are a minimum for the next 5 years. However, that is something that will be on the board agenda next week, and I wanted to make sure that I provided a full and clear understanding to the board of what the situation is. I laid that out here in a document for you to review. Does anyone have any questions regarding it?
When you said based on compared to what we're paying now, it was just for the high school.
Just for the high
So we
school.
will have savings when we got that.
Correct.
Do we know how much that is?
I do not know what the cost savings will be at the middle school. The middle school goes away, but all of those students and all of that power needs moves to the high school.
So there's
So-
no,
What are we paying
no
now?
change?
Like monthly, what are we paying now for electric at the middle school?
I don't have that information. I don't have what the cost is
That's
for the middle school.
Yeah.
That will go away.
Oh, yeah, I understand that we higher
Yeah.
high school.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not just one will pay the high school, it's all three
Right.
states.
The high school's gonna go up because of.
Right, so the middle school can go away.
So I see what you're saying, looking at the difference between those two, what that is.
The new area at the high school was the air conditioning, the middle school wasn't.
I'm not saying it's going to equal out, I'm saying we've already seen something.
Yeah, yeah.
So how was this missed back?
So I'm not sure how it was missed. My belief, and I'm not saying anything bad about anyone, but I believe that architects and architectural design usually take a look at these and understand this. And this would be something that I would believe would have been something that our LPS would have provided to us, at least, and had an understanding of what the potential costs would be. And I don't know where the breakdown in communication occurred. Possibly they gave that information or talked to it somewhat through the process with the former superintendent, because I know he worked with our LPS very closely through the design process. I don't know. And I don't say that to say anything bad or put Mr. Bigger in a bad light. I just don't know that information. I don't know why it was missed.
Okay.
that's something, in my mind, that's something that the architectural firm is responsible for.
That is something that I will have some conversations with RLPS about, absolutely. That is my job, that is my role to work through those processes.
Dr. Mitchell?
Yes.
No, that's
No, I think Mr. Lovell was
Thank you, thank you. So I'm doing the math on this, so you're talking about a $60,000 difference between the 310 that we have to pay if we can finance it. I'm saying finance it, I'm using a crude word to get my point,
Right.
and the $250,000 base fee.
Right.
So you'd be $310,000 if we financed it by the figures.
Right, the $316,000 that was originally provided was just an estimate. We did
Okay.
about 2 months ago. And in the estimate, First Energy provides, they always say there's this percentage wiggle room, and it might be above or below a certain number. So they always typically, from the customer rep that I spoke with, estimate a little higher. But we do then get a customer revenue credit that's determined on our peak hours. And I think that's listed at the bottom or on the back. Billing, the determination of billing.
Well, by looking at the figures, as I just explained, it would appear to me that instead of financing it, since it's a project of the
Right.
district, it would be more feasible just to pay the option two and be done with it, because, you know, that was